Robert Payne, by the way? Robert Payne?
I don't know, like, by name. I know a lot of Paynes, though. I definitely know a lot of them.
Oh boy, I went to the lot, if you know Lackawanna College in
Okay.
Pennsylvania, Scranton, Pennsylvania. We played football together, and I believe Robert Payne, he was from over there. Just the name, but nah, it was one of my homies in college. You know what I mean?
Definitely know. I know a lot of them, though. I can tell you that. It's a lot of Paynes out here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them.
So we are together. We have come together for this illustrious situation, conversation, graduation,
All the above.
um, all the above. Um, Giving a quick intro, what's going on? My name is Eric Boom Salvery, or Eric Boom Salvery. I'm the host of the House of Boom show, podcast, whatever it may have you. I do shoot in a studio location. Actually, after we get off here, I got to run up to the studio, and then I have another interview tonight. But for distance and just time reasons, my good brother Albert, he's a trainer. He ain't on CP time. He on. I gotta get this money time. So it's
Absolutely.
tough to schedule people and get people in the studio when they gotta be up at the before the crack of dawn. And as I started down this journey of celebrating Black excellence and just thinking about what that is, it crossed my mind to just hit this brother up and say, hey, let's do it on live. Let's just have a real conversation. There's plenty of people that I know need to hear your story. There's plenty of people who who may not know
Yeah.
or know a little bit, but they get to get the skim version, and don't really get to hear you talk, and then really know the art of the hustle. You know what I mean? Somebody might have seen me doing a remix video, one of your workouts, and then he remixed it again. He was like, "Nah, we going up another level." You know what I mean? We ain't just gonna stay here. He's like, "You want to keep going? We can." You know what I mean? But this is just just a good conversation to have overall, in a sense of second chances, Black excellence, turning your life around, taking advantage of the time that you have, and really just being an example, being a light. I remember the conversation that, like I said, me, you, I forget what the brother's real name, but Suicidal Fitness.
Yeah, my
What's
boy
his real name?
Kareem.
Kareem.
Yeah.
I was having a deep conversation that day. Like at the end of the workout, ain't nobody got no breath left. Everybody tired. You know what I mean? But just going in on that. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, brother Albert. I don't want to say your last name wrong. Pernsley.
Pernsley. Yeah, you good. Pernsley.
Okay. I'm up one, coach. Got the name right. And really just starting out, where did your journey really begin? Who is Albert Pernsley, prior to becoming Crown Me Fit?
Okay. So as Albert Pernsley, as you just gave me that nice introduction. So who I am, man, I'm a man from the city of Chester. Mother and father, married for almost 50 years. 5 siblings, a lot of nieces and nephews. Sometimes I forget the number. So I start from there for the most part. But my life took a drastic turn back in 2009. I was incarcerated, sentenced to 8.5 to 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, out of that 8.5 to 20 years, I served 10.5. Right, and through that time, I didn't know what I wanted to do with myself. I was 21 years old, right? So just think about that. I'm 21 years old, never lived a life of crime, down to the point I never even been suspended from high school, middle school, grade school. No type of record. So my life was in danger. So I defended myself in the midst of that, and someone ended up losing their life, right? Which, I think about every day. We won't go into too much detail pertaining to it. However, while being there, man, I was literally at a standstill for the most part, trying to figure out where my life was going. Right? I'm sitting there for, again, 8.5 is what I'm looking at. Out of that 20, I served 10.5. So I was at about 296 pounds, right? I'm going through different prisons, getting physicals and everything like that. And I said to myself, man, I can't leave like this, right? I can't, by the time it's time for me to go, who knows if I'm even going to leave out of here. So what started me to working out was the fact I didn't want to get to 300 pounds. Something simple as that. I'm 4 pounds away from it, but I didn't want to get to it. So I start working out, getting myself together, switching up the things I eat. And I start seeing, some weight falling off. And, I became stagnant. So I'm trying to figure out how can I lose a little bit more weight, which led to me starting to research on different workouts, different regimens on how to eat, so on and so forth. So my boy that you mentioned, Suicidal Fitness, which is Kareem, he and I, we met, while serving our time, and we linked up. And, I started to, grasp different things from him and other guys that was around. And I'm like, yo, I really love what I'm doing right now. I'm seeing that I'm impacting people, you know what I mean? And not only is my life changing, but I'm seeing other people's life change, right? And I'm like, all right, you know what? Let's get these certifications going. So I've reached out to different organizations that were from nationally accredited, let me say it that way, that I can come out and hit the ground running. So once that happened, I started creating my resumes and cover letters. I'm reaching out to different gyms. Now, let's think about this. Before this, I don't know when I'm going home. I'm reaching out to different gyms. I'm being hired by gyms before I even know my release date. So while I'm in there, my mind is on out here. Like right now, I'm in my gym. These colors you see behind me, had these colors when I was sitting in that cell, man. The name Crown Me Fit. Let's get to that one now. That was created while I was incarcerated, and it stands on where limits don't exist. And how I came up with that is while being in prison. We're limited to a lot. So for me to lose over 100 pounds while being there, it just set my mind into a whole different page. So for me, I said, you know what, Crown Me Fit is not based upon fitness for the most part. My platform is fitness. This is how I'm going to reach you. Crown Me Fit is literally, as the saying goes, you got to see it before you can achieve it. My thing is crown yourself to be whatever you're going for. Put a crown on whatever you're looking to do, whether it be a promotion, whether you're looking to be the best parent, the best brother, whatever you're looking to do. Crown yourself fit to be that. So when I came up with this brand, that's really what it is. It's a lifestyle. It's not a hobby. So what I did is I applied it to my everyday living, man, and we made it a brand.
You talked about being in a space and time where you didn't even know you were coming home. You didn't know when you were coming home. You knew you had a heavy sentence.
Yes.
While you were inside, how did you find hope? What kept you hopeful that, okay, one day I'm gonna get this right? The circumstances that got you there are the circumstances that got you there. But now you're inside. You know what I mean? I can think of one time, as you talked about your situation, this is literally the first time we really went deep into the, like, okay, this is why I got whatever, I defended myself, so on and so forth. I can almost understand that only one time I've ever been, in handcuffs is because I was defending myself on some stuff. Never got locked up or anything. Did get arrested, like police station, da 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 da, and that so easily could have been me. You know what I mean? Because somebody came to my house looking for me over my, knocked on my door
Literally
at my house, and I decided whatever, boom, situation happened. Then I got in trouble. They explained the story. I was young. I was only like 14, 15. I remember they explained this person that they got jumped.
Yeah.
Went home, told somebody they got jumped after they came to my house and looked for me.
Crazy.
Got arrested. Mom called my mom. Oh, he got arrested. Cool, leave his ass there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Damn. Finally told him whatever the situation. All right, cool. Got out, whatever. Had to walk home. My mom was like, yo, what the heck? What was it? Well, they came looking for me, whatever. Da, da, da. But I can imagine that situation going left. Something's crazy happening. Now I'm in your shoes, right?
Yeah.
How do I maintain hope?
Excuse me. So for me, how I maintain mine, and then obviously I'm gonna give it to you as far as what my advice would be if someone was in that situation. Because there's guys that go through it, women too.
And
While we're speaking right now,
I'm sure there's people who's listening who have family
right.
members, a brother. We're locked up more than anybody else, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you good. You good. Trust me. You good. So for me, at an early age, man, I had to be. I remember like it was yesterday. I had to be about maybe 20, 22. I realized that I couldn't control anything. Right. No matter what I was saying, no matter how I expressed the story, what happened, and so on. I was looking at what I was looking at. I was facing what I was facing. I was charged with what I was charged with. I literally sat there, man, and I said, God, just take this from me because I don't know what to do with it. And I can honestly tell you from that day moving, and I'm still sitting at Delaware County. I wasn't even in the state penitentiary or anything like that yet. And I can just feel it like instantly, almost just like a weight, like the weight was just taken off my shoulders, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was one. I gave it to God, number one. And, this is like, no cliche. I literally did. Here, just take it, please. Because I can't do nothing with it. I'm here. Just give me the strength to keep going. And after that, really what I can say is, man, my upbringing, just keeping in mind, the strongest person that I ever met in my life was my grandmother, God rest her soul, right? She was the one person that I could always think of as far as how she raised me, how she talked to me, how strong I watch, how strong she is. I speak to her as she's here, as strong as she is, right? And I would always say to myself, man, my mom telling me, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. And then obviously my father as well, my mother too. But my father was another one. He would always ask me, what are you doing in there to make yourself marketable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Never understood what he meant. Again, I'm 22, 23, all through my 20s. I'm like, all I want to do is get out of here, man. What is he talking about? So what hit me was you're going to be released one day. You may not know the day. You have a 20-year sentence. You don't know the day, but you do have a day. So for me, it was more so just knowing that I am bigger and better than where I am, and I have people that are rooting for me. And I also found my purpose. So that's the thing that a lot of people can go through this whole life and don't find that. So I found my purpose at the age of 25 years old. My whole life switched over. My views were different. The way I spoke was different. The people I conversed with was different. The way I took fitness was different. That for me to lose 100 pounds, man, it made me look at life like it's nothing nothing I can't do. I'm not even worried about who's going to tell me what I can and can't do. That's neither here nor there. For me, if I say I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. So just going through those stages and that process, man, that's what led me to keeping hope and to, coming out here and executing and still going. We got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do. But I want to get back to your question. What would be my advice to an individual that may be going through this, or a family member that's watching right now? I would just have a talk with an individual and tell them, man, listen, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, right? It's not over until it's over. And you're still here, so it's not over. Every day is a mystery. So as long as we have breath, we win in that regardless. So it doesn't matter pertaining to what this current situation looks like, because this too shall pass.
That's deep, bro. That's deep. And you talked about the weight loss.
Yes.
I can only assume that some of that was, I don't know what you want to call it, depression. I'm here, I'm in it here. we live outside, right? We outside. We have all the
Moving.
modern luxuries.
Yeah.
I could go right now. If I want to eat a burger, you know what I mean? I go get a burger, you know, the way I
Absolutely.
want it,
Yeah.
how I want it, as long as I can afford it, right? Or whatever. How does your mindset turn over from I'm in here, I got this weight on me, I'm almost 300 pounds, you know what I mean? To nah, I ain't. This ain't for me.
Yeah.
I gotta get out of this. I gotta nah, and I gotta lose this now. I can't worry about what it's gonna be like on the other side of this things. I gotta lose this now.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
So funny thing is about that is I grew up my whole life a heavier kid, a heavier young adult. I was one of the kids that I'm quite sure you can relate. You can see one of the kids out. I was one of the heavier kids on the basketball court, but probably one of the best. One of
Mm,
the heaviest kids on the football field. At that time, it was weight league, so I never played like organized football until I got to middle school and high school.
mm,
So I was always the heaviest kid. Like, yo, he can ball, man. They used to call me Charles Barkley when we played basketball. So that can
mm,
pretty much sum up to you. They call me Little Charles.
mm.
Football, I used to be the bus. I was Jerome Bettis all the time.
See, we had one of you, and I grew up in East Orange, New Jersey, and I didn't play football till I was in high school, but I played street
Right.
football a lot. And we used to live on shout out to anybody who lived on Homestead, Telford, Crawford, Bedford, Sanford. Uh, so we used to play against the Bedford Sanford crew, and we used to play at this park right up the street from my crib. And it's basically right behind a school, and then in the back is a big field,
Okay.
and it's got two green fences, right? And so you either got tackled to the ground or you got tackled against what we call the green monster, because the green monster was the fence. And they used to have this joker who was the big joker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Big joker. But guess what position he played? Running back.
Running back.
We used to call him the bus. And that's why I got my heart at playing
Mm-hmm.
football. Because I was young. Well, guess what? I used to try to tackle that mother. But if you didn't get him at the right angle,
Right.
you was going under the
It was
bus.
over. It was
So
over
I
for sure.
understand. I
Yeah.
understand where you're coming from. But go ahead, tell your story.
So yeah. So for the most part, even like through high school and growing up, I was always athletic, but I've never really worked out in my life. Before going away, man, to prison, I never even thought about a gym. To be honest, I'm like, nah,
Mm,
gym. Man, I'm out here moving around. I'm doing my thing. So my lightest weight in adulthood, I should say, before going away at 21, I might have been like maybe 240, 250-ish. Probably got the highest was 260. So I was always familiar with being heavier,
mhm,
but I never got to 296. So for me, I was just looking to get back into the weight that I was used to. So probably looking to lose about maybe like 30 pounds, right? So
okay.
that was really what my goal was. Man, I'm gonna get back to about 260, 250. That was what my initial goal weight was. So as I started doing it, I'm like, darn, I lost like 30 pounds. I'm not gonna lie to you. I probably lost like 30 pounds within like my first 45 days of like my journey. Because a lot of my weight I gained, like you said, I was stressed out. I'm eating honey buns and chips, 2 o'clock in the morning. Because again, I'm all over the place mentally. So I'm trying to find something to help me cope. Because again, all of this is new to me at this time. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here. So when I saw that initial weight loss, it just kept me going. And then I'm hearing a couple of my guys, they're like, come on, man, you coming down, you trimming down. Then you had to go up and get smaller clothes and smaller t-shirts. Now, mind you, at this time, I'm in a 6X t-shirt. I said, all right, we got to get this down. So I would get smaller sizes. That's how I saw what my progress was. So
Mm,
I had a 6X, I would get a 5X. I wasn't big on that scale stuff. And plus, we didn't have access to one anyway. So I would get a 5X, try it on, see where the tightness is. All right, I got to lose some weight. 5X, I can fit now. Get a 4X. Boom. Then I get down to, think my smallest size. Like right now, I get like larges or whatever, but I got down to a medium,
mm,
right? Just by me grinding. I'm working out 2-3 times a day, right? No matter what, I was getting mine in. So that's what continued me on my journey. I'm like, damn, I'm really like, I'm chopping this weight. I'm chopping this weight. And then I caught what they call a plateau. I couldn't get under 250. I'm like, damn, what do I do? That's when I realized that I was in love with this thing, because I reached out to family. I'm like, send me this or send me that. I need some different methods. Then a couple of the guys that had more experience than me at that time, they would give me some tips like, look, start adding resistance training, start doing this, start doing that. And man, I took everything in, soaked it up, and I came up with my own style. You know, like I like circuit training, body weight, and I like resistance training, all combined into one. And that thing, it torches the fat, and it gets you stronger. It builds your endurance, it builds your stamina, flexibility, you name it. But yeah, that was my reason and how I kept going, because I'm realizing like, man, this thing is changing my life, right? And it wasn't just to eat the time away. It started that way, obviously, but once I started doing it, I'm like, damn, I'm really in love with something, and it's visible to the people that's around me. You know, it's nothing like, you got family members coming to visit you and they looking at you like, damn, you looking good. You know, a lot of times people go there and they let it go. You know, you get all types of health conditions, issues when you're coming out. So it's a lot of different things that people battle with in there, and then they bring it out. So for me, it was just like, no, I'm not coming out the same, because I'm not going to be the same. You either get better or you get worse. It's simply put, you know.
Can you elaborate on just for we don't for us that's out never experienced that, and this is not for entertainment, but it's to give everybody a better look. What are the conditions like inside, if you don't mind sharing?
Man, oh man, I don't mind sharing.
Mm.
So the conditions in there. So let me listen. Whoever's tuned in, man, bring more, because I'm going to let you guys in on something. So listen, when I was at what was that? They're no longer up now, but it was SCI Greaterford, and that was me coming through the system. We had rats, no exaggeration, about half the size of this water jug, right? And they would come in, and they didn't fear you, right? They were big rodents. And for us to not have them come in our cell, we would try to place our boots in front of the door, so that way they would think that someone is standing there, right? But that didn't work. So you liable to wake up in the morning or at night with one in your bed, and then it's nobody you can tell to come. Yo, it's you got to get rid of it yourself, right? So you got showers with other individuals. So you really, basically, for the most part, you never have just your time. It's you and everybody else. When it comes to, let's say, eating wise, you eating what they give you. Simply put, you don't like it, you just don't eat. If you're fortunate enough to have some family that can send you, some type of funds to help you get commissary, which is all pretty much sodium, sugars, and starch and stuff like that. So you got to really tap into a different individual, into yourself, to find out, like, how do I become better? You have to go get better. That it's not okay. Maybe I can talk to this individual and they can help me with this. Whether it be counselors, whether it be unit managers, correctional officers, you have to become a better individual for you. When it comes to bed, like sleeping wise, you may wake up from your bunk or whatever and feel worse than you felt from working out.
Damn.
Sometimes working out relieves your body than sleep. Now, imagine deadlifting, supersetting deadlifting. Let's say you got 450 on the bar, then you got another 450 or 350 on the squat rack. You supersetting. You know how that's going to feel to your body. Imagine sleeping and waking up feeling worse than that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So that's one. And for the most part, man, you miss your loved ones. You can't see them when you want. You can't talk to them when you want. So that plays a major role in your mental. So now you have to understand, or try to find a way to understand that, dang, like I have to endure this for something better. You sometimes you got to bite your tongue, man. People will talk to you a certain way, but you got to look at the bigger picture. Like, if I react and do this, how long is my stay gonna be here? And you have individuals, as far as not just the inmates, but the staff, that will test you more so, I would say, because they may know that you're coming up on your minimum. They may see that you don't interact and act like a lot of the other ones that they're used to. So it's like, we're gonna try to break him, man. Let's see how we can get him.
Mm.
I'm gonna go even deeper with you. As I told you earlier, I had a sentence from 8.5, which was a minimum, and a maximum of 20 years. So my minimum was actually Christmas Eve in 2017, right? So now I'm ecstatic when it's time for me to go, see the parole board and get out.
Right.
Conduct was stellar, never had an issue in there with nobody, nothing like that. So I met the criteria to get out on your first parole, visit. They denied me for 5 months. Now I have family members, everybody like, oh, we're gonna have a great Christmas in 2017. I'm coming home Christmas Eve. So they denied me, tell me I'm a risk to the community. I have no remorse for my crime. So many other things that were completely bogus, if you ask me and ask anyone else. So okay, I wait 5 more months. I go back even more prepared and even stronger with more credentials. Like, let's go. They denied me again, this time for a whole year, and told me my crime was senseless. I'm a risk to the community all over again. So now think about this. You got to keep your sanity after you were just told that come back to us in 5 more months and let's reconsider this. And my hopes were high too. My spirits were up. Go back, the interview, we talking, so on and so forth. I'm letting them know my plans, what my goals are. They can see a list of things that I've accomplished. They see jobs waiting for me. They see family support. They see it all. It's nothing left to see to say this man won't go home and be a product and an asset to his community. They tell me no again for a whole year. So now I'm like, who do I talk to? So think about this now. The ones that you talk to, they're located, and they're located in Harrisburg, PA. I write everybody, hey, what do I need to do to get out of here? How are they saying A, B, C, and D? They tell me, all I can tell you to do is pray more and continue doing what you're doing. So mentally, physically, everything. How do you take that?
After after I did everything you told me to do for the last 8 years.
And some. So for me, I had to tap back into my faith again because everything in me wanted to just say, F it. But I said, if you say that, you're saying that to yourself, number one, and everyone else that has been with you, that believes in you, and that's waiting for you. So I just decided to put together, again, wrote back to Harrisburg, put together a whole list of things that no one ever really responded back to me from. And I said, all I can do is just keep doing what I'm doing. Because at that point, I had no other outlet. Like, what else do? You write to the people that have your freedom in their hands, for lack of better words, right? And they tell you just pray more. And I'm like, damn, you can really just you can just tell me that. And 2019, I go back, and this time I'm looking at it like, not that I don't care. Do you ever see Shawshank Redemption?
Yes.
Morgan Freeman, when he walked into the room, it was like, look, what are you gonna do? I didn't walk in that way, but mentally, I'm like, what are you gonna do? So they say to me, hey, this is your first time up for parole. I said, no, this is actually my 3rd time. So from there, mentally, I'm like, I'm in for a long ride. They don't even know that I'm. So just so happens, man, the woman looks at my chart. She says, sir, why are you still here? I said, man, with all due respect, I was hoping you can tell me. She said, I'm looking at everything that you accomplished. I'm letting you out. She said, my only thing, she said, you're not obligated to nothing but taking care of yourself. She said, but I'm going to leave you with something. You are obligated to get out there and talk to the youth about the importance of gun violence, how having a firearm does not make you a man, how it does not make you a tough guy, and so on and so forth. And I looked at her and I told her, I said, that's already in my plan. And once they let me out here, man, back in August of 2019, August 30th to be exact, I hit the ground. I never looked back. And I mean, literally, I was in the gym by September 3rd, employed, like ready to go.
It's such a contrasting difference when I think about things, because I'm like, what was I doing in 2017? And I say this, I was in my head, I'm like, Like, should I say this or not? I don't want to come off like disingenuous. Like, I'm going, like, in 2017, I was in Africa, going to Africa for the second time in my life, seeing the world different.
Yeah.
And somebody who looks like me, beard a little longer, a little better looking than mine, you know what I mean? But
Uh-huh.
could be in my shoes is fighting for his life,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And making a daily life decision to get up and fight
Yeah.
when it don't look like nothing's going down in your corner. You know what I mean? And what you're instilling in me is the fight. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because we all got tough times. Everybody's tough time looks different, and it's just so interesting to see that like I said, you can go from there to there, do everything right
Mm-hmm.
for 8+ years, and somebody woke up on the right side of the bed one morning and said, "Oh, let me actually read the fine print." You know what I mean? Oh, this person did everything that we told him to do. He's already got plans to do this. He's already, well, you know what I mean? You probably look different from the picture that they had when you first came in to how you look. They probably look and can
Yeah.
physically see this ain't even the same, don't even look like the same person. And decided to do what was right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You there was something that you were talking about earlier, when you talked about the changeover, the mindset change.
Yeah.
But now you're outside, right?
Yes, sir.
Now you could go to Wawa or Sheets or all these other places and eat anything you want. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
You could go crazy, calorie crazy. I can have the steak that I want. I can do whatever. I ain't got to look at no rats in my cell, all this other craziness. You know, yet it could have been so easy to be like, I did all this, and then now I'm out, and I can just go sit on my ass and do nothing.
Yep.
What has kept you in a space of, nah, I meant what I said I was going to do. I meant that this change wasn't just to keep me inside. This is a change for life. You know what I mean? It keeps me from overindulging and overdoing. I got a business now. All these things that you
Right.
build yourself up to be. What keeps that?
To be completely honest, man, I was challenged with that. Soon as they let me out, they were going to take me to Chick-fil-A. Now, mind you, I'm a pescatarian, so I don't eat red meat and I don't eat poultry.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, I don't even eat seafood as much. So I'm really like plant-based type of guy
Mm-hmm.
for the most part.
Yeah.
They were like, look, let's go to Chick-fil-A. And I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. They're like, well, look, you've been away for over a decade. We're going to get some chicken in it. Nah, so I take some fries and maybe a lemonade. Haven't had that in, I don't know how long. So I
Right.
had that. But literally for my first, I want to say about my first 5 to 6 months, man, I couldn't really eat. I was just so ecstatic to be moving around and doing my thing that I really didn't even have a desire for it. And what kept me sticking to my plan was the fact that everything that I asked for, I've been blessed with. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And I made a promise to God. I made a promise to myself to everything that led me through this hardship. I'm gonna keep it once this is over with for the most part. So down to my regimen of working out daily, down to me keeping my faith, down to what I put in my body is something that I prayed for, right? So I said, why would I give this up? And this is what works for me, right? I'm the type of person is that I would never tamper with a great habit, right? Never in life. I say that to people all the time. Don't change a good habit. Why would we do that? And as far as what I put in my body, right? The calories that you were talking about, food and everything. If it's not going to help me, why mess with it? People say you got to treat yourself. How is it a treat? But it led me to having to lose 100 and something pounds. It's not a treat, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's more so poison, if you, for lack of better words.
Right.
Now, do I have certain things that I do eat and that I partake in? Absolutely. But everything is done in moderation. No matter anything can be too much of anything is bad for you. It's just such thing as when you drink water. overhydrating. You can eat too much fruit. It's so many things, but the main thing I look at is what's going to make me better, right? So if I'm looking at this as a treat for the day, this is my cheat meal, or this is my your diet is simply what you consume. That's a diet. People think, oh, I'm going on a diet. Nah, your diet is what you consume, man. And I look at it from a standpoint of how we talk, what we read, what we watch, who we're around. That's your diet, man. What you put in. So I just take it as like, I don't want nothing that's going to take me off my square. And that's how I'm able to say, nah, I'm cool. I don't want that. Nah, I don't want that. Because again, I'm not against anything when it comes to that type of stuff. Because you can have anything that you desire, but have modification in that.
You went in was 2009? 2000.
2009. Yep.
What was the culture shock? What was the different when you came out? It was like it's a different world we in.
It's interesting. That's a good question too, because like I literally just like landed, boom, and just took off. So, man, what I can say. I remember when I first came, my family took me to Walmart, and I was walking in, and I tried my best to like disguise it, but I was walking. I think it was through like I don't know, maybe like getting some underwear, I think it was like getting a toothbrush and toothpaste, stuff like that. Like I literally had to start everything over, and I just stopped. I'm seeing everybody just moving, right? They move. I'm like, damn. I'm used to being the one that's moving, obviously, on a certain compound, obviously. You know what I mean? Like, we're not really going too many places, but I'm headed to the gym, or I'm headed to the library. I'm headed, somewhere. But I think the culture shock was the fact that I had to get back into the rhythm of moving, right? At a pace that wasn't too, like, looking around and making sure don't look at the world as a threat, man. This is where you come from, right? And I always tell people, like, you're not born in prison. You do have the option to not let that consume you. And, I did my best to whereas though I worked at the activities department in the prison, in their gym. And for me, that was my gym. I would clean it as if it was mine, where I'm sitting at now. I would train other inmates as if they were my clients that come to this gym now. So I looked at everything as if I'm already out. But coming out is completely different from looking at it that way. So I just think it was more so, man, just understanding too. For me, I want to say that everyone doesn't view things the way you view them, because I came from some stuff. So I don't dwell on a lot of things. I don't let a lot of things, take over my mental. And I believe in myself, man, so much, and I try to instill that into others. But some people just don't feel that. So I just say, you know what? I lead by example. Just watch me. So I think they were the culture shocks. Just the way that life is, how people move. But more so now, I want to say just the mind, man. Like I had to understand that everyone doesn't look at life the way you look at life. Everyone doesn't want to attack and become better. They say it, but what are you doing?
It's so interesting. I know you came out like this internet is different.
Oh, that one too.
This internet.
That one too. And
like,
you know what? I'm happy you mentioned that because Instagram wasn't out. Facebook just came out.
right.
So I did a lot of reading. All right, Instagram. They had it was more so, okay, it's about promoting businesses, right? Connecting with long lost relatives or people you went to school with. So for me, I never looked at it from what it is today. Like a person will look at you. Let's say if I don't post in 2 weeks, a person would actually hit me up and be like, yo, you all right? And I'm thinking you might have heard something. I'm like, yeah, I'm great. What's up? Now you haven't posted in about 2 weeks. I'm like, oh, because I'm really living life right now. So I haven't,
right.
I'm living it. So
right.
I looked at that, and just like you said, that internet, man, it hit me because I never was on it. Back then they had MySpace. Remember MySpace?
Yeah.
They had that.
Tom was everybody's first friend. Mm-hmm.
And I never even gravitated towards that at that time. But this one, I was like, I'm gonna come out here. I'm gonna make a page. It's gonna be Crown Me Fit, and I'm gonna show everybody that I'm not nothing to play with. I do this for real. I promote it. I train you. I train myself. And that was my whole mission. I said, no matter what came along these 4 years I've been out, I said, I can't get caught up into that. This trend might be that way. That trend might be that way. I'm sticking to what works for me.
Gotcha.
And that's how I stuck to that plan. I stuck to it. Everything that I told you about, I just never deviated from it, man. Never deviated.
That's beautiful, bro. That's real. That's beautiful. And I think that, you know, there's something about the old you that came out with you
Yeah.
that a lot of people can benefit from. Sometimes we get lost in the rabbit hole of this internet and the IG and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was crazy. Like, I was on Facebook. I'm a first generation Facebook person, right? Well, back when we used to have a college email to get on the Facebook. You couldn't even get on Facebook unless you had a college, official college. Not even like a junior college. You had an official college email that you got on there, and then eventually everybody got on there. And I remember I told people I ain't getting on Instagram.
Right.
I'm like, I ain't getting on Instagram. And then I went to a family reunion, met some cousins, and everybody was like, "Yo, you on Instagram?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm on Facebook." They're like, "Nah, man, we all on Instagram, whatever."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, all right, whatever. And I created my Instagram at a family reunion. It was my original Instagram was Boomtown Fitness and
Okay.
stuff like that. And then I rebranded to the House of Boom. But it's kind of crazy, you know, that whole transition and everything like that,
Yeah.
and what it means. But people forget that gym you just dropped about just being outside and living life and not worrying about posting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And don't worry about like all this stuff. It's gonna take care of itself. You know, what's for
Absolutely.
you is for you.
Mm-hmm.
But don't forget to live life.
You have to.
And with that, Crown Me Fit was a brand that you created while you were inside. You brought it outside. Um, what has this fitness game taught you since you've been home? Because it's different. It's not just about you. Before that was about you. Now you out here. Now you servicing the people.
Yes. So what it has taught me is that it's a business, right? Because you know I read about it, seeing how multi-billion-dollar industry it was and still is, probably even more, maybe even trillions. Who knows?
Yeah.
So it taught me that, right? Since being out here, it taught me that being unique in your way impacts so many people. And what I mean by that is people know when you're doing something original, when you're doing your thing, the way you motivate an individual, the way you lead by example, right? It showed me that. It also showed me that you can't believe everything you see too. Yeah, it showed me that because I can give you a little spill on it. Like up until maybe a couple years ago, man, I would follow certain individuals, and you would see and I always tell people, don't base your life off of someone highlight reel. A post is usually about 15 seconds, 20 seconds. When I first came out, I would make a post for 2 minutes. I would give you the whole spill of what's going on. I would link up with individuals that I saw on this thing, this IG, that would be putting together a crazy 30-second reel. I'm like, oh, I'm hitting up. We get a workout together within the first 4 minutes of the workout. Hold up, I need it. So I'm like, okay. So all of this stuff is not what it is. I thought it was, because again, I was new to it. So it taught me that, but it also taught me, man, that you can connect with people in many different ways. You can build a brotherhood. You can build as a female, we be like a sister to you, and that by being in business, your clients aren't just clients; they're your family. It's a community. People confide into you, man. People trust you with what you're doing with them. So it taught me that, man. It taught me that you can actually build relationships through through fitness, man.
That's what it is. Now you own your own facility right now.
Yes, sir.
That's what it is. How was it? You know, going through that process of not even just like I don't want to just go work at a gym. I'm gonna go get my own spot so people can because the gym is the gym is an inside. It's like when you go to somebody's house, right? Um, when you go to somebody's house, it's an inside look at what's going on in
Yeah.
their head, right? So is when you go to somebody's gym, it's the same way, right?
Right.
So what made you say, "Nah, I'm gonna have my own space. I'm gonna be able to bring
Yeah.
somebody into my mind, and I want them to leave with some of the mental fortitude things that I built up while I was over there."
Mm-hmm. So, as I told you earlier, when I first came out, I was working at a gym within my first maybe week being out, if that. So I came out right before the COVID hit. So I was out maybe within like 4 to 5 months, and then the world just shut down.
Mm.
So I'm like, damn. And all I thought about was a gym, far as me working at one, and then eventually me owning one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my plan wasn't to get one until 5 years of being out of prison. God plan was different. Ended up opening up within me being home for a year and a half. But I said I want to get into a gym to learn the business side of things, right? I want to learn how to deal with people from their youth to a senior citizen. How do you train them? How do you train a group of 50 people compared to just one person, right? And again, I've learned this in the penitentiary. So I'm training with some people, man. Our style of training is different. Our way that we talk is different. Our motivation is different, The
Right.
reason we work out is different. So once I came out and that pandemic hit, it shut everything down. So for me, I said to myself, you can't stop working out though. The outside, I am the gym. Wherever I go, I'm the gym. I'm taking the gym. I'm taking it with me. So I would just work out outside and try to motivate people that way because a lot of people weren't moving, they weren't doing anything. So I kept going, and it wasn't until like the world opened back up and I started to apply to different facilities. Now I wanted to do physical therapy centers. I wanted to really use my certifications that I gained while being away. And people were bringing me on, like, yeah, we're going to bring you on. We're going to bring you on. Hire me right then and there. And as you know, that elephant in the room, which is that background check, that came up, which I was open and everything about it. But they were so in love and engaged with my energy, my charisma, my knowledge, that they didn't even think that I ever was in prison. So they never even thought about that. Because they have a certain stigma that, I can tell he or she did time, and they too closed off, they too tough, they too this.
Right.
So I'm going through these things, man, and I'm just settling with basic jobs that were quote unquote felon friendly. And they were like warehousing and things like that, nothing against them. And I'm like, man, I can't, I'm bigger than this. I'm bigger than this. And me and my lady, we were sitting down, and she kept saying, look, you keep applying to these different gyms and these centers and all of that, man. And you've been talking about opening your gym. But for me, I'm like, I only been home for about a year, man. Year and some change. Like, I need some more time. I need some more people. So we filed that LLC, man. Started looking for some spaces and just went with it. And as I was building it, the people were coming. You know how people say, well, I don't think I'm ready yet. I don't know if I can do this. You're never going to know until you do it. It's never a right time than right now. So I'm figuring out, like, okay, I got all this equipment I'm bringing in. I'm spending thousands of dollars of this, but how am I going to bring it back? But I just kept staying diligent, and I kept being consistent. Motivation sometimes was lost, but I was consistent, and I still am, obviously. So when you keep that consistency, the motivation going to come. But for me, man, it was just more so, we sat down, man, and got tired of being denied, especially when you know that come on, man, I can do this with my eyes closed, and you telling me no for something that I can't change. And more importantly, you telling me no about something that I used to get me in the room with you. You know what I mean? So that was it. Not that it was, it's personal to me. Because get a chance to know me, get a chance to find out what happened. Don't read something and say, oh, dang, that's him. But you met me before you found this out. And what I went through led me into the man I am. So I take that very personal when you use something against me that I went through, that I turned into a positive, into a negative. Like, I give you a quick little rundown. My sentencing judge that sentenced me to my time has been in my gym.
Damn.
How many times have you heard something like that?
No, never.
And still keeps in contact with me to this day. So, it's things like that I look at, man. I always tell people, man, be your own person.
He been in your gym, man. He worked out.
It's the shit, yeah.
She put you in. She had the hardest workout in her life. I'm sorry, bro. Not a fracture her ass. But nah, all right. But nah, go ahead.
And she's 80 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So man, things like that is what.
What was that
why
conversation like?
To be completely honest,
yeah.
She actually shed a tear, a few of them, and told me, man, that I had my doubts about your situation, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I stopped her right there. I said, I'm not even here to talk. We're not even here to talk about that. Before you sentenced me, you said that this sentence is not about anything other than rehabilitating this young man, 21 years old. Whenever you come home, you're going to be an asset to whatever community you go back to. I never forgot that, because my situation could have been a lot worse. I mean, we could talk about that for days. I know what happened. However, it could have been worse. Everything, you got to look at life like that, because at that time I was in front of them. It wasn't about, oh, this is what happened. I'm telling you, this is the truth. This is the truth. Granted, we know that, but it could have been worse. I could have been still sitting in there right now, literally. So I look at things like that, and you just never know how far words of encouragement or some great words can go to a person. You just never know. So that right there, man, that never left me. So sometimes when I was going through things, I'm like, man, my sentencing judge told me whenever I'm coming home, I'm going to be an asset out here. I'm going to really shape some lives. She didn't know. We didn't know what the profession was going to be, but I'm literally shaping lives, from a mental to a physical standpoint. So, that's where we are, man.
Well, that's deep, bro. That's deep. And I'm not saying, I think about something I heard earlier because I was thinking about something of my own situation. Not a situation, but something that, I recently, I don't know, want to say discovered and everything like that. It said, gotta prepare a table before you in front of your enemies or something like that. I forget how it goes. You know what I mean? And so it's so interesting that, I'm not saying she was your enemy, but maybe for a time she was.
Yeah.
And for her to walk into a space where you were and see the other side of that thing, and see you on the other side of whatever she thought rehabilitation looked like.
Right.
That's crazy. And you don't know, her seeing you may, even whether she's still in the game or whether she has somebody under her, may change that person's perspective of what somebody like you or me looks like when they're handed down a sentence, or when they're going through a thing, because she can't say that rehabilitation isn't possible or that second chances don't work. You know what I mean? So I believe that moment was so profound. It wasn't by chance. You know what I mean? That it happened.
Not at all.
And and so it's just so interesting that happened the way it did. And I'm glad that you marked those moments and hold on to those sentiments that keep you instilled. What is, we don't did eight over here, 8 and 9, 8 and some change, 9 and some change over there. Went through a pandemic. Uh, find yourself on the road to building a successful business. You're changing lives. Well, now we're looking forward. What does Crown Me Fit look like 5 years from now?
So what we excuse me. So what we're looking for in the next 5 years, man, is to basically make this thing worldwide, to build chains of Currently Fit, as far as gym wise anyway. But the bigger picture outside of just fitness is to help shape individuals' minds. And what I mean by that is to let people know that we literally, truly don't have limits. Limits literally are things that come from outside influences that don't believe in themselves. When you think about that, it's usually people that tell you you can't do something because of maybe your race, where you're from, your age, your shape, your size, whatever the case is, and then you believe it, and then you limit yourself. We were taught what not to do. You know, growing up, you think you can do everything. You jumping off this, jumping off that. People tell you you can't do that, you can't do that. So you learn. But it's more so to let individuals know, man, that you are here for a reason. You have a purpose, and this crown is strictly for you. Only you can put it on, and only you can take it off. So the life that you want, the job, the relationship, whatever you're looking for, you have it. You have it. You just have to figure out now, how do we navigate towards it? And that's literally what Crown Me Fit is. It's about being better. It's about doing better, and just achieving it, man. Just living a life that you deserve, not that you want, that you deserve.
And it's you know, I told you before before we started, I gotta run up to the studio, and I gotta do another studio. But this has been profound, packed. And like I said, when we talked on the phone that time, it was a profound conversation.
Right.
You know, but you mentioned something before we get out of there. You mentioned something I thought was important, and I could see it in the support. I could see in the way she promoted this this you know episode and this live, and making sure people, you know, I just said second chances because I don't want people to get the message. As I said, you know, powerful, profound message about second chances and so on and so forth. She made sure she gave all the details. She made sure that, you know, everything was lined up correctly. You know, she followed all the Instagrams to make sure, you know, she put it everywhere. Talk about your relationship with your lady and how profound that's been, and getting you where you are now. Because I could tell it when I met y'all how profound y'all were together. But I'm gonna let you tell it.
So it's funny because I actually met her at a gym, right? That's why I said it builds relationships. But as far as like the impact, the impact is still to this day. The impact was her waking me up to saying, "Yo, go get what you deserve, and I'm going to help you along the way. Go get it," right? And the fact that she has now completed, she has her doctorate now, and her dissertation is success beyond prison walls, right? And that was based upon her watching my trials and tribulations and saying, "Yo, this is not right." Now, mind you, she's a retired Delaware State Trooper. So she's been on the other side as well. So she was a state trooper for 10 and a half years. I served 10 and a half years. So that story alone is completely, you know, through the roof. You know what I mean? But what
do somebody's talk show in a few years. I'm just glad I got you first.
So she has just shown me on ways that people can actually man, support you in ways that, you know, you don't even see coming, you never even imagine. And sometimes you feel like, man, is this real? Like, what's going on? But it has impacted me in knowing that you don't have to do everything by yourself, you know?
You want to give her some time since she's here? You will be introduce yourself.
Hi, how are you, everybody? I'm Demi. Thank you for joining.
Dr. No,
Dr.
get
Demi.
Dr.
And it's
Demi.
funny because as much as I promote him, he always says, "You introduce yourself as Demi. It's Dr. Demi Moore." So
Mhm.
Dr. Demi Moore. What did you see in him that you said this guy is different, this guy is special, and it's having worn the uniform, having seen all types of things that I can't imagine. A lot of people always give a lot of kickback to the police, but they don't know what they go through as well. What did you see in him that said he's special?
so it's interesting because when I actually retired, I had to retire due to a career-ending injury. I was assaulted by a prisoner in 2019.
Mm,
And I had a traumatic brain injury, permanent spine damage, neck damage, and permanent vision issues. And
mm,
when I met Al, he actually at the gym, he was helping me go through the way that I was able to work out because I was a CrossFit athlete prior to it.
mm,
And because of that, I wasn't able to do that anymore. So he helped me see that I could still do something. And I remember I was actually bitter towards the individual who did what they did to me. And Al said to me, "You're letting this consume you. Like, there's no amount of prison time, there's no amount of nothing that's going to take you back to the woman that you were before this happened." And when he said that to me, I thought, wow, you know what? Like, he just changed my whole perspective. And watching his drive, because he'll tell you, I think the denials affected me sometimes more than they affected him. And I said, I think this isn't sit right with me. I'm going to do whatever I can. If I can get us in the room, then you can share your story with these people. They might not let you in the room because of your background, but once we get in those rooms, you take the floor away because this is your story. I'm just going to get us in there. And his story was literally the driving force. I have 100 and some pages of another research that I was doing typed, but I literally started from scratch when I met him just because of his passion, his purpose, his drive. And I just saw so much in him that I knew his story wasn't just his story. You know,
mm.
Pennsylvania released almost 12,000 people last year. He's changing lives for those individuals that need somebody to be a voice for them.
Mm. No, that's special. And like I said, I can see that the love you have from the love that you push, you're promoting everything. You watching other episodes, you know what I mean? And like, who's that? She's nice. Da, 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 da. I'm like, nah, I got you, sending you information and stuff like that. So, I really just thank you for being a force in his life, and just being able to help him see the goal. And like I said, you know, I was out when I met you guys at the Philadelphia Museum Fitness Takeover. Uh, you gravitate who you gravitate to. You know what I mean? There's over 100 people working out and thing, and you try to, the big thing with me is I try to shake everybody's hands and, connect, joke with people. Some people feel you, some people ain't. Some people whatever. Some people, hey, let's connect on Instagram and all right, cool, follow, da, da, da. But you guys, I really just were able to just have this conversation and just see the deepness and the heaviness. And you guys didn't know I had a podcast. You guys didn't know anything. And I'm just sitting there listening. I'm like, nah, I gotta have this, come on and just like between you and my man's suicidal fitness. And I'm like, yeah, these brothers are deep. And then I see why they out here, and I see why they're hungry, and I see why they're doing what they're doing. It's not just about out here being cute and gaining followers and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. But everybody had a different reason, and I think that part of the reason it was out for me to be there was to connect with you guys and be able to hear you guys' story, and just like I said, be able to put you in a place where you can tell it. You know what I mean? Because I'm reminded somebody who was an older brother to me, who got out of prison. He did some time in the military, then his life went a little different and stuff like that. And me and him had just we started reconnecting after he came back home and stuff like that. So I was trying to get with him, but he's busy in his study because he's doing more like what you're doing, getting his doctorate and getting it. So he's always busy. But I wanted him to watch this today because I'm gonna have him on one day telling the story. But I was like, this is another chance to tell a story similar to his. Um, and so I had an ear for you guys.
I think one of the biggest things I always tell him is his story is so impactful, and sometimes it took him time for him to share it. And I said, when you're ready, you will. But when you do, be prepared, because you inspired me and you changed my life in so many ways that you're going to change other people's lives. And there's somebody that needs to hear his story, because like he said in the beginning, there's somebody that's going to go through what he and what Reem and what the other amazing individuals that they've connected me with have gone through. And don't shy away from that, because that journey has led each of them to being the success stories that they are today. And I mean, I talk about his story to everybody now that like it's out there, and I'm just telling everybody how proud of him I am. And he always says like how proud he is of me, and like reminds me to introduce myself as Dr. Moore. But I'm just so proud of him. Like when we were coming here to the gym tonight, walking down the hallway, I just said, like, I'm so proud of you. Like, I think I try to tell him every day how proud of him I am. And if I forget, then I'll just double up and tell him twice the next day.
I'll jump back in because I gotta get ready to get back over there. But thank you, Doctor. Yeah, man. So, I mean, we full right now. You know what I mean? Like I said, I gotta go prepare for another. And I'm like, this is a lot. You know what I mean? Not a lot in a bad way, but it's like, you know what I mean? I'm already warmed up.
Got it. Definitely.
Any last words, any sentiments, and then where can people follow you, just in case it's my followers who aren't following you? Anything that you want to leave us with, and your Instagrams and anything that's important coming up. You know, whether it's a program, workout, whatever we got going on.
All right. So my words of encouragement, to be honest, is you aren't defined by the worst thing that you've ever done, right? You can use that into shaping your life. You can use that into helping shape other people's lives, right? Also, and I always say this, man, it's on my wall back here. I don't know if it's in there, if you can see it, but man, limits don't exist. And I'm just tired of hearing people giving because of this or because of that, and this. Like, stop, go get it. This world is big, and everything out here is in abundance. You know, it doesn't run out. So that would be my main thing, to let people know that, man, that, you know, we don't have limits. You aren't defined by the worst thing that you have ever done, and just don't give up. As far as follow me at Crown Me Fit, which is, you know, this is what we're doing. And program that I do have coming up very soon. It's going to be posted very soon too. But it's called Fit Behind Bars, right? It's going to be a 6-week online fitness course. So whereas though individuals that have been affected by incarceration, if you are a family member of someone that is currently incarcerated or have been incarcerated, or if you're someone that is serious and want to know about it, as far as incarceration, re-entry, which she specializes in. If you're looking for that, we want to offer you this style of training. We want you to be strong for people that you're fighting for, whether they're incarcerated. If you're coming home, we want you to remain strong, to keep pushing forward. So with this online training, it's going to include weekly check-ins as far as like Zoom calls. We're going to be talking to people, seeing what they're battling with, seeing what they're overcoming, seeing what they accomplished, all types. It's going to be a community. And it's interesting on how we even did the pricing, right? And I'm not even going to take the credit for that, because I didn't create the pricing. I want you to let them know how we did the pricing.
So he told you in the beginning he was sentenced to 8.5 to 20 years. So I calculated that into months, and 20 years is 240 months. So if you purchase after, we're going to run a 2-week special. If you purchase after the 2-week special, it's going to be $240 to represent the months that Al was sentenced to. If you purchase before the 2-week special, like in the special, it's going to be, I think it's comes out to like 125 and some change, which represents the 10 and a half years that he served inside.
That's really dope.
Yeah.
That's really dope.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we got up and coming. And for the most part, I mean, I just want everybody to know, man, just to connect with us in all kind of ways, man. It's bigger than just fitness. Fitness is my platform, but it shaped my life. However, that's not what it's all about. You know, it's so much more.
That's what it is, bro. I gotta get ready to run. However, we're gonna do some more conversations.
For sure.
This ain't gonna be the last one that we have.
Yeah.
And like I said, if it works out where the time permits, I'm still gonna have time for you to come up to the studio and chop it up some more and just further this conversation or a new conversation, however it shaped out to be. But I just want to thank you for coming on, taking the time out your busy schedule. I know, you probably was wondering, like, is this dude coming? He talked about the flight 3 weeks ago.
I'm super punctual, man.
Yeah. And I'll just let you know I'm a party of one. I'm out here doing everything, the promotion, the editing. I did one live with another brother. Again, good nuggets, all that. And then Instagram was like, oh, this didn't save. I said, well, how I save on my other page? I ain't even set up that one page. But this one won't save. And so I was like, all right, man, whatever. And then I had to go through the process of learning how to do the lives the right way. Can't have no music playing before because they'll cut it off. And I'm like, So, just thank you for just having some patience with me. But just know I ain't forget about you. I ain't forget about you. I appreciate the support, the likes, the views. Please like, share, subscribe to House of Boom podcast. You can check all this stuff out on YouTube, Spotify, all the places that the streams can be heard. This will be able to be replayed. I will clip this, so it'll be available on Instagram. But then the full episode will be able to be on YouTube, Spotify, and I'll make sure you have all those affiliate links and stuff like that, so you can share this story. And like I said, I'm probably just lucky that I got to you guys first, because I definitely can see you guys on, I don't know, Steve Harvey show or some big show, some show with a platform where people want to hear more about second chances. So when they go back in the archives and you know how everything links to everything phonetically on YouTube and all that stuff, they go, oh, he was on the House of Boom first. Yeah. So I look forward to just future conversations in there. We're gonna do an in-person not conversation, in-person workout too.
Oh, for sure. That's
I'll probably be that person that's gassed, like you was talking about before. Because like I said, we did that one, and I did it, and you remixed it again. I was like, this bro, he on one. But I thank you again, my brother.
Yeah.
We will talk again soon. Thank you for everybody who tuned in. I see a lot of your people pulled up. And so I appreciate y'all. I know y'all lived it. Please keep supporting this brother. Please continue to invest in Crown Me Fit, this brother and his sister. And it's just a celebration of excellence overall. And thank y'all again. I'm Eric Boom Salvery, and I'm out, y'all. Peace.
All
right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see. How do I turn it off?